Okay, Little Hammer, how you doing? But hiya, Karina. Sorry, I forgot to. I thought I'd done set my stream, but I was just in the middle of chat with someone, Vladdy, actually, just talking about a couple of things. And all of a sudden, I just looked at my. What's it? Bear me a second. I can't move my. Bear me a second. Sorry. Let me just close my picture. Will go off just a second. It should do. There it is. Bear me just a second. I'll be with you. I'm really behind today. Making a right pig zero this. Okay, sorry about that. I was just chatting with someone. So, okay, so good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. Now, I took a trade there. I actually really like that. We had a channel down with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. We had a second entry short there, which you bound to trap traders. So I went long 1 tick above there. It went across and woof, it hit it really quickly. So because we'd had a break and a new low, my guess is that bear bar was trapped. So once it got above there, did exactly what I expected. I had a quick shove up, so I got a quick 3 points out of that. So now I only did it on 1 account. Now I did say I wasn't going to do that, but I hadn't long been to me chart, and I didn't want to trade everything just in case I got it wrong, because that means I would have been able to do my stream. So, curious, how did you... I just made a video, but it won't let me upload it. Excuse me a sec. Sorry, I was just having a conversation with Vladdy. I'll show you, actually. I might as well show you. I myself got denied 2 years and no problems. No, I just put this post on. I was just browsing. Now, he mentioned in that video the other day that I think they denied him, and well, they asked him to send in a video, and he said, "I'm not doing that and cancel my accounts," effectively throwing away $10,000. Now, this is just a few things I've seen on my phone this morning. Nexus, we will manage your prop firm account. You don't pay us anything, blah, blah, blah. That's one of them. That was another. Join today. Apollo trades for you. There's another one. Pay after you get paid out. So that's just 4 I saw this morning on my chart. Now, what I'll say is there's kind of a circle of life within these prop firms. You need the new inexperienced traders to lose money. Sounds harsh, it's a fact. And then when you have experienced traders making money, money comes in and money goes out. It comes in from the inexperienced ones and goes out from the ones who've got a bit more experience. And there's obviously profit in the middle for the prop firms. Now, all of a sudden, if the newbies aren't losing money, they're getting these firms to trade for them. There's a lot less money coming in and more going out. And I understand from a business point, if anybody thinks, I'm not talking about us in general, I'm talking about in general. If anybody thinks businesses don't try their damnedest to make money, they're naive. That's the way the world works. Now, obviously, Apex had this mass denial. Now, they're only guilty, really, of bad timing, in my opinion. Now, I don't speak for Apex. I treat people. Now, most of you guys know me now, and I'm a pretty straight-talking bloke. If somebody treats me well, I'll treat them the same back. Now, kind of Vlad said, yeah, but you've got this video, blah, blah, blah. Now, the people who made these videos, yeah, they're entertaining, but they're YouTubers and they're making videos and they get a lot of views and they make money out of it and they're blowing things up. For me, it's more about how somebody treats me. Otherwise, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, I understand why they're asking people to do videos, because they want to know that that person is not getting a prop firm to cover them, because at the end of the day, those companies that are doing that could potentially destroy. You have to have money coming in from the people losing it. And it sounds harsh, but I've been there. And I've lost money. And then you've got other people making money. You have to have that circle, otherwise it doesn't work. Now, what's it made that video and said that, when we deny people, they panic and blow their accounts? Yeah, it wasn't the wisest thing to do. Stupid, in my opinion. But nonetheless, it was leaked. Companies are always looking for ways to save money, and prop firms are no different. So I just wanted to have my say to him that, look, the reason he got asked to make a video, why, he kind of just said, let me have a look. Sorry about this, folks. Okay, excuse me a sec. I've just had a knock at the door. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, sorry, folks. Okay. Well, I've said I don't want to defend him, and I don't want to, give him any grief, but I just want him to hear my opinion. That's all, because I know I don't dislike Apex. I don't agree with some of the things they've done, but that sounds to me just like bad management. But I know some people say, "Oh, you're a streamer, you're bound to get paid." No, I've been denied. I've been denied. But let me have a look. Come on to have. I don't at the moment, mate. Ask Marco on the Yeah, I think we're agreeing to disagree. Okay. Let me have a look. Okay, sorry, Mr. Fitz. Sorry, I got stuck in a conversation. When you get in a conversation and you wish you hadn't said anything, you wish you'd have waited. Okay, so what have I missed? I use Apex and they denied payouts, and after another 8 days, they pay out. Yeah, I mean, if Apex or any of these prop firms wanted to be difficult, they could say, well, hold on a minute. You took a massive risk. Now, I've run an account until it's about $10 away from being blown, and it's turned, and I've got lucky, and I've made money, and they've still paid me. Now, that was purely gambling, but I got away with it, and I got paid for it. So, in the past, so I'm lucky in a sense. Now, what makes prop firms enticing to people is the amount of money. Let's say, for instance, you take a $50,000 account. Now, you get $2,500 of drawdown, or $2,500 to play with. Now, that costs you at the moment about $100. In fact, a bit less. So you're talking about 1/25th of the price. So you can afford to take big risks and gambles based on that and get away with it and make money. In the real world, you couldn't do that. And I know part of the reason that they started to change things was because of Alpine Trader. He was trading without a stop and prepared to lose the whole account. And because he was only paying, 1/20th, 1/15th of the price, the numbers played out in his favor. Now, you can't keep doing that forever. That's finding a kind of a legal loophole and trying to exploit it. Companies are bound to get on top of it because they've got to have that influx of newer traders. Now, I know Apex didn't set a few things that they shouldn't have done. All companies look for ways of making money. Now, how they do it, I'm pretty sure in a lot of cases are a bit unscrupulous, but we never hear about it. Unfortunately, one of the guys from Apex got recorded opening his mouth and saying something a little bit too stupid. Now, I'm pretty sure he regretted that. Politicians have said stupid stuff behind closed doors that when you hear about it, they don't sound good. But what we think about things or people, we tend to keep to ourselves. And it's okay. We all have crappy thoughts about certain people. It's a fact of life. But we keep those thoughts to ourselves. Unfortunately, he got aired speaking his mind, which wasn't a smart move. But I'm pretty sure he regretted it. He basically got heard saying that, if traders get denied because they broke the rules, some of them will panic. They'll end up losing their accounts, and Apex will be better off. It's a fact. It's not a nice thing to say, but it's a fact what happens. So I am a nobody to Apex. I know some of these. I've spoken to a couple of these other bigger streamers in the past, and they have guys from Apex that work with them trying to make money. I don't. I'm small fry to Apex. I'm a nobody to Apex. So I don't do this because I've been approached by Apex or because Apex have said to me, blow our trumpet and we'll pay you X amount of money. And on my art, I get none of that. All I do is have an affiliate link, and if you guys want to use it, that helps me out. So I don't, I'm just being fair because all I hear is the negative side. There's always two sides to a story. All I hear is the negative side of Apex. Now, I swear to you now, on the life of my daughter, if Apex mistreated me and started pissing me around generally, I would move somewhere else. I've been approached by, recently, maybe a month or so ago, by a prop firm offering me free unlimited accounts that I can't withdraw from, but it can make it look like to you guys that I'm doing well, and you'll buy some of their things. And straight away, I just ignored it. I don't believe in doing that. I don't believe in ripping people off. I don't believe in ripping people off. But there you go anyway. So sorry I got into a conversation. I was just browsing on my phone and I saw some of these pop up about we'll trade your account for you. And I saw another one. I'm thinking, Christ almighty. No wonder these prop firms are going to get hammered. They're going to have to start adhering to the rules. And another reason, I think that's why you've got to have that authenticator. So that may rule out companies trading for you. So who knows anyway. I just wanted him to hear my opinion. But he said he likes me. Marco vouches for me, so we'll agree to disagree. That's a fair comment. I just wanted to be safe, but there we go. Anyway, Marco Vlad got booted from Apex. Which is what caused me. Everybody used Take Profit Trader. I didn't say Profit Trader was good. I had one bad experience with them. I had a problem with one of my accounts. For some reason, I couldn't close it in where you sign in. I can't remember what it's called now. That data. And they said, have you recorded it? I went, no, which is unusual because I usually do. Then there's nothing we can do. And the guy I spoke to was a bit rude. So I just, but I think they're okay. I just had a bit of a bad experience. Only use I have with Apex 8 days should reduce it to 3 to 5. Yeah. I think, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are things I wish they change or wish they do, absolutely. But the trouble is, really, you have to treat a trading account as if it was your money. But because you're only paying a fraction of the cost, you can get away with risking and gambling. And you'll get away with it. So if you put 2,500 of your own money in an account and you took gambles and risks, chances are you'd lose it. But if you put 1/20th of that into an account and gambled it 20 times, you'd win more than once. So that's what people were doing. They were just manipulating the system, and they had to say, okay, we've got the rules. We've got the rules. We're now going to have to adhere to them because people were taking the piss. Do you know what I mean? There is a triple test there, but something about this I'm not massively wrapped with. But there you go. Anyway, let's get back to the trading. Got money in under 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I've waited 3 or 4 days. I think I waited about 5 days one day, but it went over the weekend, but I got paid. Some days it's the next morning. I think Apex need to up their game about how quick they're paying traders because they are starting to fall off behind because they were kind of ahead of everyone. But now you've got all these other companies coming out, which is good. It's good for us because the deals get better and better. The payouts get quicker and quicker and so on and so forth. Right, let me have a look here. We've got orders up here. You can see there's quite a few here. At around about 33ish, and there's some at 40. And 40 is above this. So is this going to have a second leg up? Certainly looks like it. But I understand people's beef with Apex. I do. I'm just talking from my experience. That's all. I'm not defending them as such. I just hear negative stuff, and I just wanted to maybe shed some light on, why they're doing these things with the videos. Because I did say to him, I spoke to a guy here. I can't remember who it was. I'll tell you, it was a trader buddy of mine. He got asked to make a video, made a video, got paid. So, Vlad says, I jacked all my accounts in. If he'd have done a video, he might have got his 10,000 and everything would have kind of been happy. But it's one of those things, isn't it? So what's going on here? So you can see these orders at 40. So we got a leg up and a leg up. I'm just going to pop that there because we have found a little bit of support there. Triple test, yeah. Triple test up here, leg and a leg. A lower high might not be an option. Trouble is, we've had a big move down and a break new low. Now we've pushed up and we've tried to break these lows in a bit of a retest and we couldn't get there. So I wouldn't be shocked if this comes up, gives us a bearish bar, triggers it, and then moves up higher. But I'm just using Bookmap as some guidance. So there are orders. Oh, they're just there. Sorry about that. At 40. So let's just make this a normal line. In fact, let's get rid of it. Put that in there as kind of like a range. Maybe there's a range there. It's hard to say, really. It may be one leg up, 2 legs up, and then down for a second leg. In fact, let's have a little zoom out here. Okay, so pretty much the last couple of days we're just ranging. So as we've come off the highs here, you would probably expect to test these lows. So we may come lower down to here, or we may push back up to the top. So those orders are gone. There's buyers at 37.5. So there's buyers there. So if you have a bit of a pullback, buyers are interested in pushing that thing up. Anyway, let's get back over to where I need to be. So, yeah, we've tested these levels, haven't you? So if we're kind of doing what the pattern's been doing the last few days, you probably expect price to get up here. Now, that is kind of a rough guesstimate, if you like. But that's kind of where I'd expect it to probably get up to. It's quite a strong move up there. So as we've, had the channel down with new lows, we've gone up again, and we've had another test of it, a break. and a new low, and then it's took off. So I think there's a good chance this thing is probably going to go higher. I like that. It's a nice looking channel, that. Size down. My 25, take profit account. Can I get the buffer? I haven't had much luck with Take Profit Trader. I don't know whether, do you know what it is? It's probably a lot to do with the fact that it takes you 5 days to pass an evaluation. I'm too impatient for that, which is not a, it's not a plus, put it that way. It's a minus. So let's have a look here. So we got orders at 42. 42 and a half and a bit lower. So there's 42 and a half and a little bit lower. 40. Now, if we're going to have a break here, where would it likely go? It would kind of retest this original resistance and become support. Now, it could just push up there, but there are strong orders at 40. So we may get a couple of legs down. So we may get a way up. Who knows? It's going to take a month to pass mine. Yeah, don't be in a hurry to pass them, especially if you're quite new. Take your time. It's much better to do that. I know it's difficult. It's like me pot calling the kettle black. I'm the worst for it, for taking risks and building things, trying to grow things too high. So if anything, use me as an example of what not to do. So I can't do nothing here really. It's got to come down here, pick that order up, and ideally get some rejection off that EMA or the top of this. Now, we've got that channel, we've gone sideways and we've gone up again, we've gone sideways, we've gone up again. So for me, that channel, that larger channel up is valid. We've got orders at 47, which is up here, and we've got orders further up. So my guess is this is going to push up. It's just catching it at the right place here, and not be too premature, and obviously try not to miss the move. So I've gone from there to this initial swing. We get sideways, we catch it there, we touch it perfectly there. So I like that. 2 perfect touches at the top. So we have now hit the orders there. So we've got orders up at about 44, which is there, and about 50, which is here. So that would indicate to me price is more likely going to push up. But we've still got to get a... Now, we wait for 2 moves down. There is technically a second entry long, but that's the signal bar, really. It's just no good here, so we're going to have to wait for something else. Now, I hope it hurries up because I need to go to the bathroom. Okay. I'm going to do a run, shall I? I'll be 1 minute. Okay. Oh, Careful not to blow it. That's good policy, that is, mate. Even being careful sometimes ends up blowing count. The trouble is, if you're taking risks and gambles all the time, how are you going to know if you're actually improving? Does that make sense? The only way, if you're trading properly, that you know you're improving is you'll start to grow an account. If you're taking risks and gambles all the time, you're never going to know. So, keep that in mind. It's quite wise of me of that. It's not usually that wise. But no, it makes sense, doesn't it? Excuse me, it makes sense. So now we've got strong orders down here about 36, which is there right below this area here. So I would expect a little push down. Now, if this is kind of ranging, it could come back. But I'm not too sure. I know we've got orders up here at 50 and further up. But hey, if we get aggressive sellers, which they're coming in now, so it went down there and picked up those orders. Now we've got sellers at 42. So if there's quite a few sellers coming in here before the top, this thing may come down a bit more. We've got sellers from 40. No, let's forget that. 42.5, which is here. That doesn't mean they'll sell there, but I'd rather sellers up here when we've broken this high. Just got to be a bit careful here. So channel break, new low. That's played out. No argument there. So there are sellers at about 30, 33.5-ish, something like that. Equals congestion, yeah. So channel break, new low. It looks like it's moving up, but we still need a clear picture because you never quite know. I can still see there's strong orders here. Now, look at this. You've got a big bullish bar there. It's triggered by a tick on the left chart and comes straight down. So where's that going? Quite likely to these orders down here below there, trapping that bull bar there. We're only a few ticks away from stopping that out. When it ticks like that, almost always pushes straight down and takes out the low. So here we go. Channel break, 2 pushes to a new low. Now, there's orders at 30, but not super strong. If this thing's going to push up, it needs to do it now. It's not a huge risk, that, but I'm sitting tight because there are orders below it. So a channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. We're back in. It's pulled back a little bit further than I would have liked. So I'm just doing nothing. Let me just see how far we've come back. We're sat right on that 50% line there, but I'm just sitting tight, and rightly so. There we go. See, so it's just not. I never take that first one anymore. There are times when I used to. I want to see it push above that AMA and give us some strong indication this thing's going over. Now it may hold. We've got a little double bottom there, but those orders are at 30. So there's always a possibility it may come down. What made you take the trade? That one there. Channel break, new low. 2 pushes to a new low. There was a 1, 2, 3. Looked like a triple test there and a second entry short, which triggered and pushed up. So for me, that was going to break above there. If it broke above there, it would likely do there as well. Now, I only traded it on one of my accounts. So I just kind of liked it. But there's bound to be traders kind of, you know, doing something like this, isn't there? Bigger channel looking to come lower. So that's kind of why I did that. It was more of a kind of like a trial type thing that I liked. You know, I was trying to be a bit smart there, and but I could see there was definitely a second entry short. 1, 2, 3, triple test. We'd already broke the lows. See, we'd broken the lows and we'd come down and retest it again. So my opinion was that was going to go up. So when that second entry short triggered, there's no way with that second entry short that it pushes up strong like that and it's not going to break above there. So I put my order bang on there. As soon as it broke above it, I was out there. And once it broke above there, that bar didn't do it. This one did. What happened? Shot straight through my order, which is kind of what I expected. So if you're trapping short, and quite a few of them, when it does break above there, you're going to get that quick surge, and it kind of worked exactly how I envisaged. How you doing, Sean, anyway? So, is this pushing up? Could be. There's certainly more orders up here than down here. We've still got that order at 30, but we've got orders at 40, 42, 45. So my guess is it's reaching for the top. But yeah, still got to be a bit careful. Speedy, how you doing, my friend? Night Rider, how you doing? So, channel break, 2 pushes to a new low. We've had like a few bounces here, so we're clearly finding a bit of support there. We have got orders down here, but there are by far more up here. And the top line of 50, there's loads at 45 and 47, which is here. So if we can get a little pullback here, we may find a way up. 45, 47, all around this area. In fact, probably easier if I do that. You can see this. I don't do this for you. You can see this. I just kind of do it for my benefit, and you guys can see it as well. So let's say 44 to 46. So 44 to 46. So I was hoping we get a pullback there. Say 44 to 46. So yeah, around about there and higher as well, up at 50. So I was hoping we get a pullback there. It came down and just carried on straight up, which was a bit annoying. We're nearly there now, so I don't think we're going to get a pullback there. Orders at 35. Traders thinking if this pulls back a bit, quite strong. In fact, 35, there's 320 orders there. 35. So you've got to be aware of that. You get a pull back here and go long here with your stop here. You may get stuck there. Invite Vlad. I don't think he likes me. Well, no, he just said, I like you, Lance. Marco vouches for you, so I'd rather we stay friends and maybe not talk about the prop firm thing. So that's fair enough. I went, that's fair enough. I just wanted to make it, clear why, some prop firms are asking you for a video, because there are companies out there trading for you. And that obviously can't happen because they're not getting that inflow of money from newer traders then. So no wonder they're putting extra restrictions on just to kind of cover their costs. No, I'm okay with him. I don't know him at all, really, to be fair, apart from the couple of conversations we've had, through the stream he did the other day. But, I give people the benefit of the doubt. There's not many people I don't get on with, for any reason. As long as people are fair to me, I'll treat them the same. So those lump of orders there at 35 have now disappeared. So there are some at about 38, which is about there. So we may get something to push higher. That's indeed, if that's where we go. But you can clearly see on Bookmap, there are loads of orders around here, not so much down here. So my guess is this is more likely to get a second leg up. But we can't just jump in. Obviously, we've got to wait for a setup. There are orders at 30. That's quite far away, that is. Strong orders at 50. Well, there are orders there anyway. So 36-ish, there are some. About that area. To attack that. It's better on here, I think. So we've got a channel with a break, new low, or an overshoot, whatever you want to call it. See if we get some kind of rejection here. It's not enough. Strong orders at 40 and up. Trouble is that 40 doesn't give us much space. We've got to set up, really. The strongest ones are about 44, which is in this area, which is above here. So if we can get a setup, we know that it's likely going to push above there. But there are some sellers just above 40 here. So I'd like to see what happens here. So maybe that's a first entry. Maybe we pull back a little bit and just get another bounce. Maybe there's a few sellers here. We'll see. Channel break, new low. Okay, 33 strong orders. That's quite a bit further down there, so I don't know, maybe there's something here. Trouble is, it's getting a little bit choppy here. So that can make things a little bit more risky. Trouble is, there's 212 orders down there at just above 33. 3, I'd say. Maybe somewhere just below that bar. But most of the orders are up here, and it does look like it's working up. Unfortunately, we just had no setup there, so no setup. What can you do? That's interesting. It'd been nice to break below there. Strong orders here. If we broke below there and closed about here, I may have had a go at that, but we didn't, unfortunately. I think there's a good chance we get a second leg up. We're up at 50 here, so you think about the legs there. There's one leg. That other one takes us right into the middle of this, and that kind of would make sense, wouldn't it? You can clearly see them all congregating around here. There's not as much below. There are a few orders sitting around here just for traders thinking if it pulls back, I'll jump in, but I don't think there's enough really. By far the biggest pull is into this area. It's a shame really that didn't stop below, but I wouldn't have taken it up there anyway. It's too high really. You don't know whether we're going to have another pullback here, but just one of those things. But that does look like, unfortunately, we could have had a nice possible setup there, but nothing, unfortunately. So, what can you do? Okay, we got right to the middle of that, which was where that measured move was. Yeah, I'm going to literally take a 2 off it, so 2 legs up. Just wondering if there's any type of a possible channel up that we're making now. See, Brick has walked into a bar. I'm not sure about this being a channel. My guess is this is probably going to... I don't know is the answer, to be honest with you. What is going on here? Are we just testing this top and it's going to push up? Trouble is, we had a channel break new high. Still, all is in this area. Got to be a bit careful here. Sometimes you kind of feel yourself trying to work out what's going on and trying to work out a possible way of getting in. And sometimes you can forget that it is a bit choppy at the moment. So got to be a bit careful. It's not super clear, really, is it? We've had break from this channel 2 legs down. We've had 2 attempts to push higher, and we couldn't get up there. So, sitting and twiddling our thumbs. Woof, straight up. What's happened there? Something's happened there. We've got news there that's created that. All the orders are just dropping for some reason. I've got nothing on my charts. Someone said something. Just noticed a lot of orders have just disappeared there. It's pushed up really strong. Now, why did that? Did just loads of people buy there? Because I didn't really see much in the way of a change here. Everything went black, which tells me, look, some people yanked some contracts. So I wonder if there's some news there. It moved up a little bit quicker than it normally does. The way it reacted there told me there was maybe a little bit of news. It may not have been. but it just started flickering all of a sudden and took off, relatively quickly. It kind of just went from there. So it shot up 10 points within the space of a second or two. So those orders at 50, which we can see. I think there's a fair chance. Well, we're there now, actually. I was going to say, okay, there we go. So price is doing what I expected it to do based on what I could see. So it's another plus for having the ability to look at Bookmap, because it stops you think, if all of a sudden you think channel break, two pushes, now this is coming down, it looked to me like it may do channel break, two pushes, struggling to fail, but the orders were telling me that they were up here and price went to them. So sometimes when I think something different, Bookmap tells me what it's showing me. You know what I mean? So it definitely helps. So touch. Is that a channel with an overshoot? It's a possibility. Yeah, there is, mate. There is. It's not straightforward. It takes you a bit to get used to it, because I think when I kind of started a little bit more a couple of weeks ago, I was focusing too much on it and taking trades based on what that was showing me, instead of waiting for a setup on my chart and just checking with Bookmap that I was aiming in the right direction. So it's there as an aid, I think, just to maybe confirm, maybe just to sort of quash any of your doubts. If you're taking a trade here, there's not much in the way below here, orders wise, strong orders up here, then you may, I'm not saying it was a good setup, but then it may give you, that extra little bit of confidence that, yeah, I think I am aiming in the right direction. I mean, people swear by it. It's level 2 data. You can see where orders are. It's only going to help you if you use it in the right way, I think. It's a bit of an odd day today, mind you. I probably say this every day. Kind of have a lot of odd days lately, but I think trading's got more difficult. Whether it's the fact that my brain's got so much more information that when it's processing things, it feels more difficult, or whether I'm, leaving trades that ordinarily I would have taken in the past. So maybe it seems like that, and maybe it's not. It's hard to say, really. So channel with a break, two pushes to a new high. This thing does seem to wanna slowly push up. So just looking at Bookmap quickly, there are buyers at 36 down here. Is price going to get that low? Maybe it will. It does seem to me like we're generally trying to move up, but you don't know why we're going to do before we get some kind of a pullback. If we look at this, we pushed up to about the same level and then pulled back and then pushed higher. So, we've kind of had very similar if you think about it. So, it makes sense that we have some kind of a correction. So maybe those orders that I can see down here are in the right place for this kind of possible move down. I mean, this is all speculation, really. I'm just trying to assess the market and just see if I can get an overall understanding, how these kind of bigger moves are moving, for want of a better word. But, you can't trade based on that. You can't, say it looks like it's coming down here, let's just go short. You obviously need some confirmation. At the moment, it's not the easiest chart to read. You have the bigger channel up with 3 possible. You got something like, you got it from here, have you? I think I tried this, didn't I? The only bit that put me off there is we got a nice bounce, and a possible overshoot. So now overshoots, as we know, can do a bunch of things. Sometimes it'll pull back in to the channel, rocket straight up, and then reverse. Sometimes we'll get a bigger correction. Sometimes it will reverse. But all I tend to do is, if we got an overshoot, is avoid this next kind of, trade, this next second entry long. In other words, getting a bit premature. At the bottom, you right down here. I tried that as well. The only trouble is it misses a lot. I mean, you could, if you put it there, see, I don't like it now. It feels a bit weird. Whereas if I bring it to there and skip this, it naturally kind of brings this up to there. But then we've got this, a break. So I would have probably said maybe that. And the reason I say that is we got a touch there. We kind of bounced through it, and we got a touch there, and we got 1, 2, and a bunch there. I mean, that bar there fitted perfectly. So did that one. So did that one. So that doesn't look too bad. It visually looks like the right angle, but then that would give me as an overshoot. So it's hard to say, really, isn't it? Some of these days, they just don't make a lot of sense. And all I do when we get these days is just give it a little bit of space and try and, I think it's always best, if you're not sure about the channel's right, it's okay to get the channel slightly wrong if we're moving up strong, because, you can use that EMA as possible entry. That kind of gives us an extra bit of backbone as well. But if you look at the EMA, the way that's pushing up, it's very similar to the angle of the channel. So you kind of have to do what you can do. And what about the spiking channel? You're on about something like this, are you? That strikes me as the type of channel that Matt would do. Actually, it doesn't look terrible. And the reason I say that is because we are bouncing the midline, bouncing the midline, bouncing the midline, bouncing the. So that might be right. Now, you know what, Sean? I think you're more like Mac than you think, which is not a bad thing, mate. So Mac might have that. The only trouble is, with these bigger channels, if you were trading a channel like this, what do? You wait for it to pull back to the edge of the channel. Now, if you were trading this big channel, you'd be waiting for it to get down here. You may potentially miss another move up. So it's nice to have, a rough idea, but, having that on your chart doesn't really help you as such, does it? Because you'd be thinking, we've got to come down to the bottom of the channel, like here, down, up to the top of the channel before we go short again. So, but it doesn't look bad to me, mate. That does. You can clearly see that midline is playing a part, can't you? So that is, it's got Mac's name written all over it. Touch your channel perfectly. Yeah, that's the trouble of having these channels. There can be a few different ways of reading them. In other words, they're not super clear. So, it's a tough one, isn't it? As I say, it's not an exact science. It's easy to get it wrong. You don't know now. I mean, if I look at this particular bar here, that looks like not a bad move to go long. And there are obviously, shorts up here somewhere. But looking at this channel, I wouldn't be wanting to go long in the top tier over halfway up into the highs. But on here, it would look like a bad setup. So it really depends how you know what I mean? That doesn't look too bad, in which case that doesn't look like a bad setup. Trouble is, it's fair size, isn't it, that? If you get a tick above, tick below, it's 6.5 points. It's a biggie. But but it does look like 2 legs back. It's a strong move off that bottom line, isn't it? So maybe it'll work up. But then if you look at this side, there's plenty of space down here where it could come down to. So that's the problem, really. If channels aren't super clear, it's very hard to read them accuracy and make, a proper informed decision as to whether, whether it's time to, to get into a trade. But that looks quite nice there. So that bull bar, we've triggered it. Now this may just pull back a bit and push up. So that bar might not be terrible, but I would expect a higher low down here, which may be a little bit more enticing. But it is kind of 2 legs back, and it's quite a strong move off this bottom. I'd rather get a failure here, trap a short, and then drop down and push up, and then we may get that move up. There's bound to be stops up there. So looking here, it's about 56. There are orders at 56 up here. There are some a bit low, and there are some at 60. So there's plenty of orders up here. So I think there's a good chance this is gonna work up. Here looks okay. I wouldn't take it here. So that's a lot of times everything conflicts with each other. Yeah, it is, mate. And when it's like that, simple thing is just to do nothing, and that way you keep yourself safe. It's not easy finding these right approaches to get in. That's kind of where the patience kicks in and the discipline to go. Doesn't feel right, let's leave it alone. I'm looking at this and thinking it's a strong bullish move right off this bottom. I think there's a fair chance it's going to push above there. If it pushes above there, it's probably going to have a couple of ticks of an extra push. That's where I'd have to get out there. So I will try to get in there on the nail if I was going to. And as soon as it's that, so that would more likely work, I think. But it was a big bar, 6.25 points. I don't want 6.25 points when I've still got a few discrepancies here. So best thing to do. Yeah, mate, patience was the hardest thing for me. I was absolute crap at it, but it seems to be one of my stronger points now. Because I think you realise if you keep patience, you end up a little bit safer. But it's definitely something I've had to learn the hard way. So there's a higher low here now. I don't think it's terrible, but is it starting to go a little bit sideways? It's a little bit sideways, and if you were going to take that, you'd be going long into possible support. So I'll be inclined to the bars naff anyway. So I'd be inclined to just leave it in. Now, it may work, but it's a little bit sideways and it could come down to the bottom here. It may have a break. We've come off the bottom of this channel here and we've hit this level and we've struggled a bit. So it's one of them things that you don't know. We've clearly got orders up here, so I think there's a good chance price is going to go up. But it may just come back and sting you before it goes up. So I would prefer price to come down here a little bit first, I think. This may just have a little flush down. No, I can still take him, I think. Have a look.
Order submitted.
Yeah, I can still take him. I only did it on
Order
one account.
cancelled.
Just there, I did it just on the one account. I didn't want to trade them all because it was more like, this looks to me, you know what I mean? Do I call it not a risky trade? I thought I was being the clever one by taking that because there was a second entry. what I'm seeing here is 3 pushes up and a bearish bar. So there's a triple test and a second entry short, and it came down and triggered it and pushed up strong. So my guess is we're going to have a second leg up, which is why I kind of took it. But I only took it on one of my accounts. I know I did say I wanted to stop doing that, but anyway. It worked exactly like I expected it to. So I wouldn't call it an unnecessary risk. It just looked like a setup to me, but I didn't really want to. I thought I was being a bit clever there. Turned out I was okay. I was on the right side of it, but I didn't want to risk all. Not only that, it was before the stream. If I get it wrong, I won't be able to take another trade then. So I wanted to kind of save myself for you guys. I'm nice like that. So I want this to come down a bit now. It looks like it's trying to push up. Now, there's bound to be some stops above this, but I don't want to get in. Let's talk on the left one, off that midline, because it does look like it's a bit choppy. And this may have a quick flush. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Taking a trade here in the middle of this little bit of chop is super risky. Okay, so we've had Dan's. You're not far away, Sean. You're not far away. He's got that. So he does have some odd charts like that, because Mac used to say it's got to be confirmed it 3 times. Mind you, could say once, twice, 3 times. So maybe it is. But he does have some odd looking charts, does our Mac? That's for certain. So he's gone with this. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it is at the end of the day, but having that channel really is not going to help you. I think you're best off focusing on the smaller stuff. It's not going to help you, that really. It's a bit of a guidance where prices going, but we can clearly see there's a kind of a bulge that looks really, yeah. Mac does have some odd looking charts sometimes. I don't know why, he does know what he's doing, but he does have some strange looking things sometimes. Yeah, Dan said as well, he said, I tried that big uptrend too, but thought no way. So that's what I'm thinking. I looked at it and thought, no. It's not that he might not be right. It's just, it's pointless doing it because it doesn't really help you. I've got it from here, and the tops look right. So, 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, who knows? But I think that's probably as extravagant as I really want to get to. So for me, this is going to have a flush down any second now. And I expect it to come down to around about below this anyway. Certainly below that. That's in less aggressive buys. I can't. This is too choppy. This is to get in here. This is going to have a flush down. I can see we got orders down here around about the 44. So there's very little up here apart from some at 60. That's a bit too high. Now I could be completely wrong, of course, but whenever it does this, often it'll just drop. It's clearly congested on the right chart. It's clearly congested. You're going to have orders here without a doubt. So my guess is it's going to have a quick flush down. Now, sometimes when you get these really strong entries, sometimes it'll come down and flush everything else out, but that'll hold. But the reason I think it'll come below is because of bookmap. In fact, it's actually a bit lower than that. It's more like around there. All I'd be interested in is getting below those 2 bars there. But, you can see how getting in here, there's not a lot of weaker positions to get in long here, but I've done that before, got in here, and all of a sudden it flushes down. Now, I can open my eyes now and clearly see it's a bit choppy. It's not moving strong. It's finding resistance up here. So for me, the only way buyers are going to get in here is below all this chop for a ride up. Now, that doesn't stop aggressive buyers thinking, I entered here, I want to hold this position, I'm going to buy now, and it may push up, it may do. But my guess is what I'm looking at the moment, it's more likely going to come down than it is go up, and that's enough reasons just to stay out of something. But you never know. You never know what's going to change. But as I say, it doesn't tell you it's definitely not going to do that. It gives you a bit of an idea where, see, those orders have just disappeared there at 42. They've come down now. There's a low down at 37, which is quite a bit lower. Now, you may argue there's a triple or quadruple test there. Now, those orders just disappeared. So there is a possibility this may work. But I'm just staying out at the moment. The bar's huge anyway. It ain't finished yet. 17 ticks, tick above, tick below. I'm not risking the best part of 20 ticks on that. But there is a large amount of orders below there. About 36 there. Yeah, see, we had a big, strong push up and then it reversed. Just lost the edge. But it's weird how those orders just got yanked. There's very little here now, apart from down here and right above here. And funnily enough, if we put that order up at 60, price is very much right in the middle of these two. Strong sellers up here, strong buyers down here. Yeah, strong sellers up here, strong buyers down here. What's happening to price? It's rattling around the middle. So it came below there and below there. That's what I expected it. If you're going to get buyers interested in here, it's going to have to get below there and there for my liking. I can't see price coming down here. It may well do. If it does, I can't see that that's a channel without a break. Because you wouldn't expect it to pull back that far. Yeah, I'm just sitting tight. Excuse me a sec. I'm just going to pour myself a scotch while I'm sat here. I'm in a festive mood. I might as well take advantage of it. Bear me a second. Okay. I couldn't resist. I was keeping this for New Year, but oh, that is so smooth there. It's not burning my nostrils at all. That is my 14-year-old rum cask Balvenie. £71 I paid for that. I was keeping it for New Year, but I thought I'd just check. Wouldn't want to go out New Year's and poison ourselves, would we? So God, that is so smooth. Oh. I am a fan of these rum cask ones. They're as close to bourbon. Scotch usually is quite a bit away from bourbon, but they're close to bourbon because of that slight spicy sweetness. Smooth. No, it's only a double. It's equivalent of a pint of beer. You can drive in the UK on 2 pints of beer. No, I'm only having the one. I just fancied trying it. As long as I'm okay to drive, I'm okay to trade. To be honest with you, I can drink half a bottle and some and wake up perfectly fine in the morning. I've been drinking scotch for about 10, 12 years. I have been known to polish off a bottle in one session on occasion. I try not to do it now, but yeah, I'm only having the one. I did do a bunch of valuations once about 2 years ago. I'd had 3/4 a bottle of whiskey. And when I got up the following morning, I got 10 in a row and lost them all. So drinking and trading doesn't work, absolutely. We're starting to get these weird batch-like things that we had yesterday. Little bits of broken up orders. So let me have a look at this. So we've got orders here at a fraction over 55, which is up here, which is kind of where I see price going. Not necessarily straight away. It may come back here first. If this is a channel, it could etch toward this side. Merry Christmas, everyone. I know it's a bit, mind you, we're in December, aren't we? Christmas is just going to be here, and it'll seem like 5 minutes that we're sat here in New Year, but I'm looking forward to next year. Fresh new year. It's going to be the best year. Every year over the last 2 years, I've made a little bit more. This year, I've actually made money. Last year, I made a little bit, not much. I think I did 26. I think it was 22,000 last year, and I think I had about 16 or 17 in fees. So I made about 5,000, 6,000. But I know I checked everything a week and a half ago. I think I'd spent something like 14,200. It's a lot of money, I get you. 14.2. So I'm definitely 40,000 up for the year. I won't take any more payments this year. My accounts aren't big enough, but 40,000 for a year, that's a wage. So, you know, I'm really pleased with that. And every year is getting better. So, you know, what have I hit? 54,000. I've got 20 accounts. You know, my target for next year is to hit that magical 6 figures. That will be amazing. But my main ambition next year is to just stop buying accounts. I've got my 20. I don't need any more. If I manage them and trade them correctly, I shouldn't need to buy any more, apart from possibly adding, you know, a few take profit or something like that. But my plan is to just not blow any more PAs. Just trade them one a day. That's it. One account, one a day. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's weird we're getting these little kind of block. What is again? So we've got some up here that looks about 60. Now we know we've got some at 60. I've got it on here there. So that does look like a break from the channel and a push up. It's not the normal type of a break. It looks like one leg down and immediately pushed up. It may operate like that because it's broke below all this liquidity. So ordinarily, I'd like to see 2 actual legs down there. Now, that doesn't look like 2 legs to me. It looks like one leg. It may be a leg and an overshoot. But the fact that we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces, we have broke below, I think, below all that previous liquidity. Yeah. So if you're going to buy this, I suppose you want to wait till it clears this liquidity out, and then it's pushed up nicely. Not the normal way it breaks, but nonetheless, it's done what it's done. So what can I say? My Charlotte has had a new break. Yeah, I've got my, if I look on the left one, I agree with you there. This one, I've got kind of two different ways of looking at this. I've gone from that spike to there. That looks okay. The tops look nice. Visually, you can see it working around that center line, that midline. So I don't mind that. But that one uh, is kind of is pushing from that area. So it's kind of a different way of looking at it. Doesn't look as good on this chart. That chart it does. But yeah, either way, we've had a break. So, I'm prepared to kind of give this thing some space and kind of figure out what it wants to do. Can I have 100 accounts, am I? I know, what's it's got? 40? Has he got 46 or 40 something? Nutty. He's a nice bloke, Nutty. I like him. He's got a good personality, I think. He's a nice guy. I think he's got 40 odd. Uh, so, the potential's there. If you're relatively new, I know you kind of want to rush and kind of want to make money, but one thing I knew from the early stages when I first started to learn about trading, I got the potential. So the potential to earn a ton of money is absolutely there. You've just got to keep coming back and keep learning, and you will get there eventually. Uh, But yeah, I could see the potential earlier on, which is why I've just kept coming back and coming back. And I don't know any different now. I've been doing it as a full-time job now for nearly a year and a half, knocking on 2 years, nearly a year and a half. And I do love not having to get up in the morning at stupid o'clock, go out in the dark and the cold. One of the good sides about trading, apart from earning more money, is that freedom you get. There's no other job that I can honestly think about where you have so much freedom. Any other business. I've got a friend who's a builder. He's got a building company, and they like going down the south coast of the UK, and they talk about retiring down there. They couldn't go now because he's got a business. He's got customers, loyal customers. You can't all of a sudden just decide to up and leave. There's very, very few jobs where you can, but with trading, you can trade from a computer anywhere in the world. You can walk away for 6 months, come back, and your job's there. It's very unique like that. There's very little overheads. Realistically, I mean, if obviously with with prop firms. But if you add, a big pot of money eventually, like we all hope we'll get there, there's very little overheads. You don't need trading a room in your house. You don't need insurances. You don't need vehicles. You don't need tools apart from a computer. There's very, very little to shell out. Obviously, while you're learning, you're paying your learning costs as you would if you went to college or university in the UK. There's costs. So this is looking a bit odd now. This is looking very much like a range now. So trouble is, I couldn't trade this if I wanted to because we've got one straight leg down. You may say there's a small overshoot there. I think it's irrelevant really. So interesting to see what happens when we get down here. So orders wise, we've got some, where is that? About 37-ish, which is right where that is. So, I mean, if this is a channel, you can clearly see we pushed up. We couldn't get anywhere. We pushed up again. We just couldn't get any higher. And then it just turned. You want a short here. I'm hoping you wrote that comment when we were up here, mate, because if you did, it worked. So, yeah. Be interesting to see what happens when we get down here. Now, look at that. Now, I had that channel there. Not now, before that even came down, when that was up here. So we're getting a little bit of sideways here. So is this starting to hold? Now, I can see orders down there, so I won't do anything because there's strong orders down there. But it's interesting to see how we're bouncing here. So just because those orders are down there doesn't necessarily mean price will get down there. If enough aggressive buyers like this level, they'll buy in and push it up. So look at that. So although we got those orders, see the aggressive buyers there, there's double the amount of aggressive buyers. Starting to even out a bit. I wouldn't, well, there's no setup anyway, but look how it's bounced. Absolutely ticked perfectly. Now, is that just random? Impossible. Maybe once in a blue moon, but not only that, if you look here as well, like it happened the other day, see at 40, there, where that touched, right at VWAP. Now, I don't use VWAP, but I'm aware of what that pretty purple line is, and it bounced off it. It did that the other day, bounced right off it. So if you were going to take a long gear, that may give you a little bit of confidence. Now, I left it purely and simply because of these big orders down here. So Whether it'll come back and get those or not, who knows? But you can see things like VWAP, they do play a part from time to time. But these orders down here worry me a little. You don't have a new low of the downtrend. See, that's the downtrend I've got. If I put it like that, there's a small break there. You may even argue there's a small overshoot. We've got a channel down. There's a small break there. Do you know what? I remember maybe 12 months ago, I got caught out on a trade. A lot of people did. And Mac went, we've got a break there. And I'm not kidding you. It was the size of that. So sometimes little breaks like that make a difference. But I think not only have you had a break there, I think what's created that bounce there is this. There's nothing else that would at least create a temporary bounce. Now, I've got these orders down here, and price may have a temporary bounce, make 1-2 attempts to push up, and then come down to these orders. But if you're going to trade this and you're going to look for a place to take profit, and you're aware of something like this, that would kind of be the natural place to take it. Do you not think? So maybe that's kind of the way I see things. Now we all kind of look at some things different. Now there's something else that's pushing that up, and I'm guessing it's aggressive buyers, because I can see these big orders down here, and price is going in the opposite direction. That's not to say it won't have 2 attempts and then drop like a stone, but at the moment, you can see they're even up a bit at the moment, but there's more aggressive buyers, that little box there, than there are sellers. So aggressive buyers are riding this market up. So most of the time, it will hit these areas, but because price hit that level, you can clearly see right to the tick, 2 bars and off it shot. Now, the aggressive buyers are coming in. They like this level. They've obviously, maybe we're trading in a bit of a range here. We have a breakout. It's a failed breakout. It's off a key entry point, and traders have liked it, and they've pushed price up. So regardless of having these passive orders down there, there could be a ton of passive orders. If buyers are buying here, and they clearly were, then price is going to push up. So, I wouldn't necessarily miss a trade if I thought enough traders would get into it. But we got no bar here anyway. There's no signal bar for a Pat's point of view. There's a higher low here, but I was focusing more on this chart at the time. I tend to look at this chart. If I think there's a good area, I'll scan left and just... there's nothing else it can be, because we got a touch, a touch, a touch, a tick off a touch, and a perfect bounce. So it has to be. And obviously you can see at the top, there's only so much random stuff you can get before, the obvious kind of kicks in. I watched Mac's video last night, and what he was talking about is having confidence as well. The more you do something, the more you see these things happening, the more you'll get confidence. So I know, I don't agree with some of the things that Mac does about so many things, but I always listen to him because I think he's got stuff of value to say. He may not be the best trader in the world. Some people are good at doing the job. Some people are good at teaching the job. But, I still think he's got value. I think he's an exceptionally nice guy. So I still watch his videos. Sometimes I'll fast forward a little bit to a few things, because generally when his video pops up, it's usually about midnight in the UK. So I'm not as compos mentis at that sort of time of the day. But I still think he's got value, and there's a lot I can learn from him. It was like his soapbox. He does sometimes, doesn't he? No matter what I think about the way Mac teaches, one thing I will tell you is he's a nice bloke. And I'm one of these type of people. If you're a nice person, I have got endless amount of time for you. If you're nice to me, I'll go out of my way and bend over backwards for you. And he's a nice guy. So, I enjoy watching his videos. But yeah, he did talk about, if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. It talks about the more times you get into these trades, the more confident you'll become in your own skill, and you'll get in a little bit more freely. And but the more I do price action, the more I realize how bloody accurate it is. It seems very different than a lot of other trading styles, because I hear a lot of traders saying I risk one to make two and I get about a 50% win rate. If you're really good at Pats, you can get a very high win rate, because price action is so damn accurate. It's just filtering out the crap and having that patience and discipline to wait, for that precise moment. Don't know nothing 2 years, you're a kindergarten. But he's right, isn't he? We all think we'll be doing it before then, but it's the thing is, for Mac, teaching trading, it's like being a parent, isn't it? Your kids, my daughter said to me, "Oh, you don't know what it's like being a teenager." Yeah, I do. I know exactly what it's like, because I was one for a long time. So when you've kind of lived that life and been through it, you know what life's about. You understand what it's like to be a youngster. And it's the same, I suppose, with trading. Mac's been through all the ups and downs, and he's learned. And then, hopefully you pass it on to the next generation. But a lot of people come into trading like I did, thinking it was easy, thinking I'll sort it out. And I had a very rude awakening, because it was way harder. But fortunately, I'm lucky that I keep coming back. Whether I like punishment or what, I don't know. I did think maybe it was because I'm gambling. Maybe it was because I get that buzz. Who knows? Maybe that's why we do it, partly. But if I am a gambler, I'm quite a patient one, because I can sit here all day and not take a trade. So I'm hoping that the sensible side of me is doing the right things for the right reasons. So your girl, we were sitting there, she went, "Yeah, but you were never a girl." And I went, "No, but my wife was." And I've spoke to her about it. Kids think parents haven't got a clue, don't they? I can't tell you how many things I used to get, pull the wool over my parents' eyes, thinking they didn't know what I was doing. Of course they do. Of course they do. When you've lived the life of a youngster and a teenager, you've been it, done it, got the T-shirt, you've learned all the tricks. So when your kids try and pull the wool over your eyes, it doesn't work, does it? Not the easiest day today, is it? We had a bit of chop, a push up, a bit more chop, push down, a bit more chop, a bit more chop around here, a bit more chop around here. So it's not the easiest of days today. But what I will say is, if you sit here patiently, all you want is one nice opportunity, and the rest of the day doesn't mean shit. You just wait for that nice one opportunity, you jump in, take your money, and it doesn't matter what else the market does for the rest of the day. So sometimes when you think these days can't get any worse, something will just all of a sudden appear. You'll pick it up and move on. So 42 I'm looking at there. There are some orders that have just come in. That's it. That's all you can do. Just sit and wait. You do kind of get patient in time, because you realize if you don't stay patient, you just lose. And when you get, I was going to swear there, when you get fed up with losing, you start to do things the right way. most of the time. So orders at 52, which we can see. That's there's some at 60. We know that. There are orders there at 52.5, which is there, right above here. We've got a channel up there. That looks like a channel to me with a break. So we are, what's looking like, testing this. Now, there are strong orders lower than that, at about 36.5. That's quite a way down. I can't see price coming down that far unless I'm completely reading it wrong. Price is at 52.5. Price is there. So I'd say it's hard to say really. There's kind of a mixed bag. If you look at the contract sizes, 103, 113, 103, 164, 119, 108, 103, 108. So there's very similar amounts of orders around this area. And what happens when that happens? It goes sideways. It's exactly what it's doing. Now we have had that bounce there, and we've got a break. So maybe we have a channel break and a new low, and have something here to push up. That for me is below VWAP. VWAP's down here, so we've pushed off VWAP. So maybe they'll stay down there out the way. Who knows? See, that channel looks valid to me on both sides. Oh, there's at 52. That's interesting. Trouble is, it's massive. I think that would probably work, but it's big. It's only 15 ticks there, but we've got a leg down there with a break, so we may get a second leg down here. We can see their orders down here, so I'm just sitting tight here. It hasn't triggered as of yet. Anyway, it has on the left side. I'm just not a massive fan of what I'm seeing at the moment. I tend to just want to see. There's a certain picture that when my brain sees it, it'll go, I like that. And there we go. But it didn't trigger that. But I thought that may be a push off, but clearly not. So orders at just above 40, which is about there. Let's say, for argument's sake, it's below that tick there. So getting lower and lower. That's about 36, isn't it? Yeah. This purple line here, bud, I'm pretty sure it's VWAP anyway. See this purple line? See when we came down here there, we had a bounce off it right there, which was that bar there. So that's what I was talking about. It bounced right off VWAP to the tick, plus it bounced right off that channel and it took off. So yeah, that's what I was looking at there. I'm pretty sure. I don't use it, but I know what it is. I'm pretty sure that's it. And we bounced right off it. So we've got orders around about 51 3/4 there. Sorry, 41 3/4. About there. And down here as well. So we've got a mixed bag actually. Orders above, orders below. It is a little bit choppy. Wilson. Sorry, lad. Sorry, my boy. How is my dog? He's all right, aren't you, lad? All right. Come on then. It's Mr. Wilson. You all right, lad? Hey? He's all right. He stays with me during my old trading period, don't you? Go in the bathroom, he cries outside, don't you? You're a big soppy, aren't you? Eh? Aren't you, lad? Eh? Aren't you? You're a big soppy. I go in the bathroom, he follows me. I go upstairs, follows me. Downstairs, follows me. Out in the garden, he follows me. And he's sitting right down by my side now. That's kind of where he stays. Because I'm at home all the time, see, he kind of just can't go anywhere without me. We've got another one somewhere. She's not too well at the moment. She's on her last legs, I think, which is a real shame. We all get old, don't we, unfortunately? So that's kind of where I expected price to go to and up further. But one, there was no entry there. And two, because there are orders down here, I kind of just wanted to sit tight and stay out of that. What can you do? What can you do? So we went sideways, dropped out the bottom, had a bounce. We didn't get a decent bar there, really. We didn't really get a high low. We did on this chart. But I don't know. Not really interested. There's a lot of chop today, so there's a lot of time where there's not really much we can do. Yeah, see, I've got a mixed bag at the moment. So if I look at Taylor's chart, he won't mind. He's got what I've got on my left channel. A push up and sideways, drop out the bottom, and eventually a push up to the highs. Oh, Wilson. He stinks. So that's one. Oh, Wilson. And then obviously I got this, which is kind of a buddy of mine, actually. He's got that as well. So there's a couple of different scenarios here, which is kind of what I'm looking at. I've got the best of both worlds here, but that's kind of played out. If you like that channel, we had a break. We actually made a new high, but then we had a couple of pushes and eventually we went up. So not the easiest of days. The green balloons on the heat map are market orders. Yeah, so if you jump straight in the market now and buy it, or if I click buy market and get straight in, that's what these bubbles are there. But yeah, green, obviously, bullish, and reds. So you've got the passive orders sat here, like if I stuck a limit order at the top, and then you've got the aggressive. And this bit of information here dictates where there's an imbalance at the moment, that little box that I'm circling there. So if I take a trade here and that grows, that kind of gives me the confidence that prices, there are more people thinking along that kind of same line. So yeah. I mean, if you get this yourself, you can adjust them. I think it's there. You can make them a lot bigger. But I think if they get too big, they just distort things a little bit. But there's not much in the way of orders here, is there? There's a few around the 55, but quite strong around the 60. So my guess is this is probably going to continue up before it comes down much further. I can't see it coming down too much. It may come down to around about here, but then I think it's going to push straight up. Unless, obviously, aggressive buyers and sellers, change the dynamics a little bit. But my guess is it's going to push straight to that. And that's why I talk like that, because I'm talking what I think's going to happen based on what I'm seeing. And the more I talk about it, the more things happen that way, the more confidence it gives me that I'm reading the general direction right and understanding what I'm seeing compared to what's happening in front of my eyes. It just gives you that overall confidence that I'm reading things right. And this picture is, doing mostly what I think it's doing. So there's a few little orders here around about the 55, so it may come back a fraction, but I still think it's going to push up. But you never know. Some of these orders, they are starting to pop up a bit now, but you have got to flick your eyes. But you only need to pay attention to this if you're in a, if you're in a zone where you're thinking about taking a trade. So there are some popping up around about here, but I don't think it'll get back there. They're relatively strong there, but they're stronger up there, 287, 300 on contracts. My guess this is more likely going to push up, but that may slow things down, the 52.5. Trade 4, chicken closed up, 9.7. Good on you, mate. Good on you. I like hearing people making money. So, yeah, we've got orders down here and orders up here. There is a little bit more further up, but there may be enough of a balance to make this go a little bit sideways, which is kind of what it's doing. So I think this to get that little push is probably going to take, yeah, some of these orders are disappearing. The 52 have moved up a bit, not so much, but it is doing kind of what I thought it would do and push for this 60 line. So this does predict quite accurately a picture of where price is going. And that does one important thing that I can think of straight. So it gives you direction. At the moment, the strongest orders are up, which is telling me price is still moving in that upwards direction. Overnight highs up here. Yeah, quite likely, mate. We know market likes to do that. Now, although I think it's going to here, it doesn't stop it in the meanwhile, pulling back first before it walks up there. So it's not a case of that's where we're going, let's just jump in and anywhere random. You've still got to kind of get in, because if you jump in here, put a stop here, it may come down, take your stop, only to push up where we think it's going to go. So it's not an exact science, but it does give you a relatively strong prediction of where price is going. I don't know what Kirk's trading actually, whether he's trading Pats or something. I don't know. My guess is, because he's ex-military, he's probably got a massive pension, way more money than he needs, and he's spending it on having fun, I reckon. When he should be purchasing me a nice bottle of scotch and sending it in the post for Christmas. So Kirk's ex-military. So always got massive respect for anybody who's served the country. And I'm pretty sure he's older than me as well, which is a bonus. It means I'm not the oldest one here. Second entry short. Okay, so you can see these orders here. So I did say this may well pull back to this area before it pushes up. I still think that's where it's going to hit. We've only really had one attempt to push there. So I do think it's going to go higher. Sometimes we'll get these orders and then they'll fade away. 2.5. They're still there, not super strong, but price has come down to the EMA. It's a tick off it, and already it's starting to turn. So I can take nothing here, unfortunately. Channel break, new high. Nothing I can do here, really. It could push straight up to here, or it could pull back a bit first. Took that one there. To the right of the red bar at the top. Which chart, left or right? So we've got a tick away from that. Sometimes I get sucked into snaps a lot. Yeah, we've all been there, bud. We've tried to push up here and bounced. Now, there was orders above there, but they've been yanked. So at the moment, that is the top of the line. Now, sometimes when you get just a thick line there and nothing much above it, sometimes it'll reject when it gets close to it. That tells me if there's nothing above, there's going to be more sellers there. And sometimes, if you haven't got the patience to wait for it to hit there, you may get in a bit early. You know what it's like sometimes. We all, want to have the patience of a Satan, get in where we think is the ideal time. But if it gets close, sometimes we'll go, oh, screw it. Let's just get in. So it is finding a little bit difficult to get there. So it may come back a little bit. Maybe you get a few more buyers in to give it that final push. Taking short trades, they seem to be more often. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I prefer short triple tests to long triple tests. Don't ask me why, but do I take more shorts than longs? Maybe I do. It's strange that, isn't it? I dare say people prefer reading the market a certain way. No, I don't think you're on your own, mate. We all have kind of ways we do things in life. Maybe shorts feel I don't know. It's hard to say. See, with shorts, you kind of think, we've all kind of had embedded into us gravity, kind of, brings everything down, everything that goes up, the must comes down. Maybe there's something in it. Who knows? Maybe we naturally feel more comfortable shorting. Now, generally, as a rule, as prices going up, I tend to stay away from shorts. Having said that, it's broad enough, and it's doing enough of this that you can take them. Pretty sure Mac will mark some. But I think my main focus is looking on ways to get up to these areas. I generally feel it feels a little bit unnatural for me going short when I know prices generally creeping up. And I think, as a general rule, it's always best to stay with the market than against it. But if you can read the charts all right and you're confident in what you're doing, And as scalpers, we only go for a small amount. There's no reason why you can't trade this broad enough. As I say, I don't doubt for a second Matt won't mark some of these. He's bound to. Yeah, if it works for you, take it. Absolutely. If you, at the end of the day, if someone can make money out of this after these markets, I don't care whether they're pressing the button with their eyes closed. If something's working for you, stick with it. Absolutely. There's a million ways you can trade these markets, and probably more. From different entries to different time frames to different risks to different profits. If it works and you can make consistent money, you're doing what very small amount of people can do, or a large amount of people can't do, if you want to look at it like that. Markets drop. Yeah, I mean, we kind of understand the concept of gravity. You know, everything that goes up must come down type of thing. So yeah, I've said this in the past. Whenever price is struggling to get up, it often comes down quicker. So, you know, sometimes when we're looking like we've got to make a high, but it's really struggling and going nowhere, I used to get into trades there, but then I found all of a sudden we'd have a quick flush down. So whenever I see that really struggling to get up, I leave it alone, because more often than not we come down. And yeah, if you look at, you know, I mean, we've got these strong moves up, but, you know, price could all of a sudden be going up and then down it comes. So yeah, there's probably something psychologically built into us, isn't there, that things are easier coming down. Who knows? So is there anything I can do here? Is that kind of two legs down? Maybe. It's just not clear, so I'm just sitting tight here. I can see those orders there, but we've been up there already and found it a bit tricky to get through it. So there's nothing you can do here. This thing may go straight up or it could come down. I got no idea really. It's been a quiet week for me. Mind you, there was a day last week where I took 2 trades in a row within a space of a couple of minutes. I think it was the week before last. We had a nice second entry short and a beautiful lower high. And I remember saying it's the first time I've taken 2 trades in a day for a long time. And then you can go, I'm on day 3. I mean, I took a trade yesterday, I got out of it, flickered a bit, but it would have went on to win. But the way I see it is if you can get an average of 2 clear profitable trades per week, $300, let's say even $250, $1,000 a month. You got 20 accounts, $20,000 a month. Plenty of money to be earned. You don't need to risk too much. I think you should start taking a break of like an hour or an hour and a half during the day, then coming back later. Yeah, I've thought about that, mate. I've thought about that, and I have from time to time. But I would say most of the trouble I've had has been when I come back later in the day. Now, I did consider at one point, if I don't take a trade in the day, then I may come back. So I may do. At the moment, when I picked up this full 20 accounts, I thought I'll set. So I have mine locked at the moment. I can't take a trade before 1:30 UK time, and I can't take a trade after 6:30 UK time, which gives me a 5-hour window. Now, most often than not, that hour leading up to, you know, the general opening from 1:30 to 2:30 in my case, doesn't yield a lot in the way of profits, with the exception of that one. Now, if I'd have taken all that on the counts, but it was a little bit choppy, but I thought I was reading the market. There was a second entry short, which looked like it was going to stop out, and it did what I expected. But it is a bit choppy, and it was a little bit more risky, which is why I did it on one of the accounts and not 20. But maybe I will. Maybe I will. I think for the rest of this year, which is what, 2.5, 3 weeks we've got, I'm just going to continue how I'm going. And then, yeah, if I do get a session where I don't get a trade, then maybe I may come back. finish, maybe do 3.5, 4 hours, and then come take an hour off and come back. I may do. But as I say, most days, there's a trade. I mean, if I go back 3 or 4 weeks, I remember coming down nearly every day and saying to my wife, "One trade and I'm done," and it was working. But we go through these periods of time where you might not take a lot. Um, you have 3 bars in one direction to connect. Yes, absolutely. So when I do a micro, I make sure I've got 3 bars if I keep it tight. Now, one of them can be a doji. It really doesn't matter. So let's find an example. So I would consider that a little micro channel down there with a break. 1, 2, 3 bars, break, new low. So yeah, even if it's a doji, it doesn't matter to me. As long as you can get 3 bars, and I consider it a break afterwards. Yeah, I watch Matt because I learn stuff all the time. Sometimes he'll word something in a different way that I might not have necessarily thought of before. Have you noticed prices gone a bit sideways here, and it's not been able to get through this level here? So that may mean it's getting a little bit difficult. So it just may be coming down here. It's hard to say at the moment. I'm not sure what this yellow line is here. Try and find out. Overnight mid-range again. Yeah. There's not much in the way of orders down here, but there is some here. So that would tell me this is more likely to come up at least a bit. And at the moment, the overall price is up anyway. So those two kind of make sense. Now, this time we got up, we're coming away from this top a little bit, aren't we? So for me, it's struggling to get through this level and, finding a little bit lack of momentum, which sounds a bit odd to say considering how strong a push that was. But we are coming away from that top a little bit. So a lot of the time when we get that, we get a break of the channel. So I can see orders down here above 45, which is a break of the channel, and orders down here. So there is 2 legs down there with a bullish bar, which I'm staying out of. It may go up and drop, or it may work. I'm just sitting tight here because we have got these orders down here. And if you like this trend here, you want to at least wait till we get to the bottom. But as I mentioned, we may even get a break, so it may come here lower. So I wouldn't take a trade there, regardless of what it does. It's got to sit tight. Some days you've got to sit here for 3-4 hours and do nothing. You may do that a couple of days in a row. It's just unfortunate. There's nothing, and there really is nothing you can do. If you start bending the rules and pushing your boat, pushing your luck, just comes back and gets you. If your patience goes in, you think 2 legs, let's have a go here. It triggers you and starts to work down towards your stop. And it's infuriating. But after a while, you just give it up. It doesn't work. Now, the overall is price is giving up, but this bar here is kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it's right in the middle of this bottom tier. As I say, we couldn't get up to the top, so this is losing a bit of momentum. So I think the natural natural progression at the moment is down, I think, certainly to at least this level. But then we are getting a few orders up here, so maybe these orders up here will suck price up. You can see them there. A lot of the orders down below are starting to fade, so that might suck price up. Who knows? But then you've got aggressive buyers and sellers here. I think that's vulnerable, put it that way. It's off the bottom. It's in between. It's right in between this midline and the lows of this larger channel. So for me, it's a no-no. It may hold, but look, there's just orders popped up at just above 45. which is there. There's quite a few orders. There's about 600 orders within the space of this area there. So for me, that's a no-brainer. It's going to get stopped out. So we're aiming towards this area now. So just under 45, which is about there, which is below this bit of liquidity here. Now, as I say, we couldn't quite get to the top. So my guess was we were going to get a break of the channel, which is exactly what we're getting. So clearly see that right at the top, right at the top. Couldn't get up, pull back, couldn't get up, pull back. Clearly see that line there where we can't get into this area. And now we've had a break of the channel. So where does this go? Pull back at that range about this. So we know we got orders about 36. Where are they down here? It's quite a ways down, that is. I'll be surprised if price gets that low. Excuse me just a second. Okay, so 37, we've got 37.5, we've got there. See how far this thing goes down. A fair old drop, that is. Oh, shoot. Temptation is to go long there, but with these orders down here, I wouldn't do that. May work, but that's irrelevant, really. Yeah, I mean, probably is you never know when it's just going to turn and move up. It's not, it's kind of not obvious. See, I can see orders at 40, which is one tick below that bar. And I've got orders at 30. Where's that come from? Oh, there. I've got orders at 37, which is down here. Now, that's quite a bit lower than I would expect it to go. And we've got sell orders around about 51, which is there. So it may go up and come down. It's just hard to say at the moment. It's just not super clear. You don't know it's going to do that. If we did, I'd be jumping in. But I can see a channel down there with a small break and a new low, maybe. But sometimes it'll just drop down and then just shoot up. Shush, Wilson. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Marco's not taking anything today. It's not the easiest of days today. There's quite a lot of chop. It's easy to get stung a bit today. After the fact, it's easy, of course, but yeah, Marco said he doesn't even see anything in hindsight. I agree. There's nothing I can see here, really. That one I took on the one account. That was quite early, so it was a second entry short. I was just taking the failure just because I was pretty sure there was going to be traders trapped here, and it did what I expected. But apart from that, there's nothing I can see really that well, yeah, maybe that would have been a good trade. Still a strong up. Yeah, it seems to be. What I'll say, looking up here at 260, there's orders. There's stronger orders around about down here. So who knows? I say 60. So there's orders up here at 60. And there's orders down here, which is kind of in the middle. It's very choppy, this. Do I still like that? Yeah, I think so. Partly because I could see it was losing momentum and I expected an overshoot, which it did. So it's playing out how I expected it. But this is just kind of like they call a V-shaped recovery. Not something I use specifically, but I've heard Mac talk about it once or twice. But it's not your typical couple of legs, is it? So it's just not super clear. I'll do my downtrend from the previous. Up here, yeah, I wouldn't get involved in there unless I saw some sort of rejection down there. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's hard to say, really. I'm not super sure I know what's going on here, really. So I'm just kind of sit tight and letting it figure things out. Some days it just does this, which seems to be more often, actually. But nothing you can do. Not that high. Previous swing. Are you on about there, are you, bud? Previous swing above. I thought I took it from there, didn't I? Did I go from there? That's where I went from. Is that the one you meant? The swing above. That's the highest one I can see. You were looking at something like that, did you? Oh, the one below it. Got about there. Got about something like that, were you, bud? Yeah. It's hard to say, isn't it? Yeah. So it's hard to say, to be honest with you. All I did notice was this quick push down here, and then we had a small break and a new low and then up. But it's not an exact science, is it? There's so many slight variables. So I can see orders. Well, those orders at 55 just got moved up to about 56. So I think there's a good chance price is going to. So you got some at around about 56 and a bit, and you got some at 60. So for me, at the moment, with the exception of the ones down here, yeah, see, they've yanked again. I wish people would leave them where they put them. This is moving up quite strong. So you would expect it to aim test these highs. We've cleared out this down here. So unfortunately, there's no real way in. It just comes down as a small break and then takes off. So we've got a channel with a break and a new high. Now we got a bearish bar. Is it testing this line? Is it going to trigger? Move up? I don't know. Yeah, they are, mate. Yeah. It's not easy, is it? Done it again. Pitch black outside. Absolutely pitch black. Okay, I'm just going to pop something in the oven quickly. So I'm going to just, how long have we got? Oh, I've got another hour and a half potentially, yeah. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. Leave this to sort itself out. I'll leave you with that. And I'll be back in about 5 minutes.